You can't fix what you ignore. And I think that's a trap that a lot of people fall into when it comes to their health. I mean, they think if nothing hurts or if nothing feels off today, well, everything must be fine. I fall into that illusion as well. But we often delay in action what actually builds a health crisis, and that's that delay there, is what happens. I mean, most people, they'll wait until they're tired all the time, or they're in pain, or they're frustrated, maybe frustrated with their weight even, before they even take action or make any changes. It kind of builds to that tipping point. And at that point, it seems like you're already behind. So prevention, I don't know if a lot of us really consider it. It's not about staying out of the doctor's office. I think that's what some of us consider. But it's about setting yourself up to feel strong, to feel clear and in control of your future. Ooh, doesn't that sound great, right? So we're going to talk about that today. And if you are listening or watching this and you want a better plan for keeping your energy high and your future strong, I encourage you, head over to talktoperry.com. If you're watching, I'm going to pop that in the lower third there. But if you're driving around or just listening, you can remember Talk to Perry, TalkToPerry.com. That's where we can talk about the tools, the support, things that you actually need to feel better today, not just when you're in that crisis mode. We do that in 15 minutes, talktoperry.com. So the habits that shape your that long-term health, well, they aren't super flashy. They aren't super sexy. They're often, the quiet, steady ones, but they work. These things don't need to overhaul your life to start. I'm going to share with you some things today that are really, really simple. Just when you're aware of them and you start making these changes or shifts, you're going to feel a lot better when you pay attention to there are areas that many people ignore until it's too late. So each one of these, they affect each other. If one gets thrown off, well, the others start to, create issues as well. And the first one, and I'm not an expert on all of these, is just some stuff that comes across my radar and in research or books that I've read. Blood sugar. And, you don't need to be diabetic for blood sugar to affect you. I mean, the way your body processes sugar, and this, it can directly affect your energy, your mood, your sleep, fat storage. If you're eating things that are like high sugar foods or energy, even just skipping meals. Well, your blood sugar, it likely swings way up and then down. A lot of times I've had friends of mine that, well, I don't want to say it's friends of mine. I've experienced this too, where you get kind of that midday, you go for the energy boost. Maybe it's an energy drink or you grab a candy bar or whatever it is. Boom, all of a sudden, hey, I've got the energy. I've got the go. And that's that sugar level spiking. And then all of a sudden, 3 p.m.'s hitting, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm crashing each day. And that's why people go for the candy bar or the coffee. You feel foggy maybe when you wake up. Well, it messes with your mental clarity and your ability to focus. So stabilizing that, it can really shift your energy. I remember I've done some sugar detox sort of things, but even just to be aware and to keep those things in check, all of a sudden you're just feeling like you're on your game. It's like, wow, I feel clear. I feel focused. I'm really got things dialed in. The afternoons are not crashing, things like that. Another one is inflammation. It's not always something that you feel necessarily, but it shows up in stiffness, swelling, brain fog. And that can eventually lead to some bigger joint issues, chronic pain. And inflammation is like your body's way of saying, hey, something's going on here. And that can be boiled down to like the way you eat, how you sleep, how stress can either calm it or maybe it's fueling it. So when you lower inflammation, it's really incredible how you can feel. You don't just feel better. you recover faster, and you start performing better. That's really cool. Um, Hormone imbalance or hormone balance, let's say. I don't even talk about the imbalance, but that's what ends up happening. Things like cortisol, insulin, estrogen, testosterone, they work together. When one's off, it can throw the other things out of rhythm. So let's take cortisol for instance. If it's constantly elevated, well, it can block the fat loss. It can drain your energy. It can mess with your sleep. You see how all these things are connected: energy, sleep, fat loss, aches and pains, things like that. You don't need a full lab panel either to just start improving your hormone function. It's like getting more sleep, walking daily, managing blood sugar. That can make a big impact. Now, once again, I just encourage you. Another one is micronutrients. Those are the vitamins and the minerals that keep your body running. Now, you can eat plenty of food and still be undernourished. I think a lot of our, over the past, several decades, that's what's been going on with our food system is just the nourishment. You aren't getting the vitamins. People tend to be, at least so I've heard, tend to be low in magnesium, vitamin D, B vitamins. And, when you're low on those things, it's affecting your mood, your metabolism, muscle function, all that stuff. So you're not always going to, you won't always notice the impact right away, but long term, those deficiencies can really add up. You feel more tired. You get sick more often. You're like, why is this? I'm the healthiest person I know. Now I'm not. You struggle with progress. So that's why the daily support matters. And another one I want to talk about here is mindset and time frame. Now, if you're only focused on short-term wins, and that happens a lot in the world that I talk, at least the people that are in the realm when they're reaching out to me for mindset coaching or health and fitness coaching, they're a lot of times going for short-term wins. I got to get in shape for a wedding. I got to get in shape. I'm going on a vacation, or I got to lose weight by summer. Whatever it is. If you're focused on short-term wins, you miss the chance to build something substantial and sustainable. That was a big deal for me when I finally something clicked to where I'm like, okay, I can build a rhythm of getting started with my workouts. And once I started getting fitter and getting healthier and losing some of the weight, I started thinking, well, gosh, now I could take my foot off the gas and, just go into maintenance mode. And it was quickly evident that that was not the way to go. I needed to be thinking long term. How can I make this sustainable? Did I think at the time that 23 years later, I would still be getting in my daily workouts and all this? I was hoping, but I really didn't have that plan until I really committed to this. I'm like, I'm going to pay attention to my journey. Long game planning, that thinking long term, not about being perfect every day, but just stacking the patterns and the support of who you want to be next year, in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, not just who you want to be this week. Now, I get it. You need to focus on who I need to be this week. You don't keep future self out in the future. You identify with future self and start doing those habits right now, so that when future comes, future self is very, very happy. So when you stop making decisions based on the next 24 hours and you start thinking, how do I want to feel in the next 6 months? Everything changes. You get more patient. You become more consistent, more confident in your choices. So, and hey, this is where I can help. If you are tired of guessing what's working, what's not, I'd love to help you get clarity, create a better rhythm. Head over to talktoperry.com. Let's grab a spot, and I will help you map that out. And you'll leave that call with a simple step, the next steps, and even a renewed sense of direction. Because preventative health, it's not just about being obsessive. It's that awareness, like I talked about. You're not just wanting to work on how do I feel today. You're like, what is it going to shape? How's it going to shape my life tomorrow, the next day? And the sooner you start paying attention to that, well, the easier it is to stay ahead of what most people spend years trying to fix. So just know you can choose to use your power and take control. You can let the excuses, the what ifs, the procrastinations, the putting it off until tomorrow. That's kind of the procrastination stuff, right? You can let that control you and drain your power. It really boils down to deciding and committing to yourself and your goals and choosing to figure out new ways, looking at possibilities, learning and growing, and keep moving forward consistently. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. You could drop those down in the comments. I promise I will reply. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find the show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.